Start. Go.
All right. 72, December 14. Okay, welcome in, everybody, to the Plate Pants Podcast. It is episode 72. He's Jason Ginty. My name is Rod Ryan. We're recording this on December 14th, 11 days till Christmas, 17 days till 2023. Nobody ever counts that down. It's weird because that would mean that my vacation would be over with. So let's just go with the 11 days till Christmas.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little Christmas today. I did hit up the post office this afternoon. It wasn't too bad. You said that you had some year-end stuff. I wanted to talk about some Christmas traditions. And then I wanted to show you that I brought out a new candle. I brought back a candle that I had held on to because you know I don't throw anything away.
Ever.
So
Dude,
I'd like to welcome back my Cole Beasley candle. And he has been reunited with St. Josh Allen.
Saint now. That's good.
And Stephon Diggs. So welcome back. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, you can see I've got my holy candles, and I never got rid of, I never counted them out. Cole Beasley is back together. The Trinity has reunited. If you're watching on YouTube at Plate Pants Pod, welcome back Cole Beasley to the Buffalo Bills. Bills game moved. It got flexed to Saturday, by the way. Bills, Miami, Saturday night, snowstorm coming.
Fucking Saturday night is the way it should be. I love Saturday night NFL football because I ain't got to get up too early on a Sunday. I love it. I'm excited about watching the Bills on a Saturday night, especially versus Miami, a good team in Buffalo and snow. You know that's the best shit on earth. It's the best.
And you know this, long before Tom Brady ravaged us for 20 years, what you grew up hating was the Miami Dolphins. That was the big rivalry. And, you know, you hated, that's where the whole squish the fish thing came from. There were so many great battles. And I mean, even going back to when I was a little kid and Bob Greasy, versus Joe Ferguson, all of that stuff. So we grew up hating the Miami Dolphins. And then that hatred kind of turned over to the Patriots. But there's still something about them that I cannot stand. I hate the Miami Dolphins. I enjoy hating them. So, yeah, Sunday night, they're supposed to be listen, I don't care. I don't watch any college football. I'll watch some other NFL football games. I'll have them on in the background. But you can bet your ass if there is any game on and it's snowing outside, I'm watching that game. It adds a level of entertainment to the game that I don't care who's playing. The fact that it's going to be Buffalo, Miami is going to be amazing. So I'm hoping for snow. Obviously, I don't want it to be a blizzard. I don't want the game to be canceled, which they won't. But they're supposed to get some wicked ass snow.
I'm looking forward to that. And, I was talking to a guy just on the other night about, I said, he's like, where are you from? I'm from Buffalo, man. He goes, what the hell are you doing in New Orleans? I'm like, long story. And then we started talking about football, of course. And he's like, you Bills fan? I said, well, of course. I said, you take your licks for all those, this goes for a fan of any team. You've got all those horrible years where you just get your ass beat. And then, of course, the 4 Super Bowls losing comes up and you you try to change the conversation real quick because you don't want to relive that pain. And then he started talking about, hey, I heard you guys are getting a new stadium, and all this stuff. And he's like, have you ever gone to a game in the snow? And I said, I have. I said, my parents took me to some games when I was a kid. And there was a couple of times where the snow would just be piling up on your lap. And he's like, and he's a New Orleans guy, so he's used to the Superdome. He's like, that's got to suck. I go, no. I go, you know what sucks? Going to a dome. I said, a dome is like going to the mall. I go, it's just not the same. I said, a Buffalo Bills game there's 50% survival of not dying from the elements, and there's a football game going on. I go, there's so much more going on. A dome, everyone's dressed up nice, and there's no chances are you're going to be okay at the end of the game. You know what I mean? And he said something, I don't know if this is true, but I'm pretty sure it is. And you might know, he said that they're building a new stadium, but they're not going to do a dome stadium, right? They want that open air.
That's correct. So
okay.
It's a done deal. The Buffalo Bills are getting a new stadium, which is good. That means they're going to stay in Buffalo, but no dome.
Nope. Wouldn't want it. No thanks.
So you know, there's no home field advantage when your game is moved to Detroit. There is no home field advantage. Okay. So none of those kids are from Buffalo. Josh Allen's from California. He didn't grow up playing in the snow. So I don't know. I mean, there is an advantage. The Bills fans, the guys that I talk to, I have some friends that have season tickets, and our friend Briggs sent me a text a couple weeks ago. He said, I'm hanging out with some no roofers, not enjoying it, don't like their company right now. Because they're like super gung-ho Bills fans. Not us, man. We're going to take off our shirts, beer bellies in the snow, you know, like super gung-ho, really kind of playing up the stereotype that what, you know, most of the country thinks of Bills fans. He's somebody that has season tickets, so his opinion matters. He's like, I'd like a dome. In his words, as a season ticket holder, he'd like a dome. Those games are a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Nobody's, like you said, nobody's dressed cute. The girls aren't dressed cute. You're there. The girls are wearing Carhartt. You're just trying to survive.
That's it.
And I get it. It's a part of the experience, and it's what makes Buffalo like one of those really special places where, you know, a lot of people around the country do have that on their to-do list to go to a game in Buffalo in the snow. But they want to do it one time and not do it again. And the people that got to go every time, it takes a lot out of you, man. It's different than having season tickets to any other in any other city, you know. I mean, Green Bay maybe. It's just, it wipes you out. I mean, when you get cold, you know this.
Game over.
You just get cold to your bone, and then you're done. And then a lot of times you'll get cold and wet at the same time, because if it's a wintry mix coming down and you start getting wet, then your core gets cold, then you're wet, damp. There's 100% chance that you're going to be sick all that next week.
And you know, you do like everybody else. I go into the men's room and I turn on that fucking hand dryer and I stand there going, okay, this is going to fix everything. I'm going to stand here for 5 minutes, warming up my hands. It doesn't do you a bit of good. Yeah.
And you think that let's go get a couple of beers and maybe warm up. When you're standing in line at all of the vendors in Buffalo, the wind is whipping through the halls. There's no relief of the wind and the cold. So, I mean, you know, to quote my sister, I remember going home, late December game, Tom Brady, Patriots were losing miserably, you know, and then I think Sue Ryan's quote is, it's like sitting on a fucking block of ice in there.
No, it's those metal bleachers and everything else, man. No, it's a shit show.
That's her coming out of the women's room. That's her coming out of the ladies' room. It's like sitting on a fucking block of ice. Okay.
No, I will say this though. As much as I don't want to see a dome go up there, I'll never go to a game in December up there. No, I now being an older dude, give me that fucking dome. Give me that dome all day long. I like going to the Saints games because I don't have to worry about anything. It's nice. But when you're in your 20s, 30s, that experience, man, you know how it is. You get completely wrecked. You're out there drinking all day. You get there at like 5 a.m. You're just pounding all day. You're in the parking lot. You're eating.
That's when we were going, and it was awesome.
Awesome. That's what it's on. But man, you get to a certain age, you're like, yeah, I'm not going to freeze my balls off for this.
But they do it.
Game. Oh, so they do it. That's crazy.
So it is a done deal. Now, I'll see an argument online, and it says, well, if you don't put a dome in, you're not going to get a Super Bowl. Buffalo does not have to
fix that.
Buffalo does not have the infrastructure to host a Super Bowl. I'm just going to say that. So even if it was a dome stadium, I don't think that you would get that package deal where, okay, well, you know, put in the dome and then we'll put you in the rotation and we'll get you a Super Bowl game. You know, Buffalo doesn't have that. I just don't think they would get it.
It's much like Green Bay. Other than if they threw a dome in Green Bay is in the middle of nowhere. The Bills Stadium is in the middle of nowhere. You need to be. It's always been like, why would you not put it closer to downtown where you can actually have an infrastructure for these types of events?
That's what I don't understand why they're not doing that. They are putting it back out there in Orchard Park. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
You'll never get a Super Bowl. It's too far away. You need to have that. Houston's good. Vegas, New Orleans is a great city for a Super Bowl.
So New Orleans listeners and old Saints fans will remember Kyle Turley. I remember talking to him during the season that he was playing, and he was texting, "What the fuck? Why am I on a bus for 35 minutes going to the game?" It was like his first time playing in Buffalo, and they stay downtown Buffalo, but you got to drive out to Orchard Park. He's like, he goes, "We're big dudes, man. We don't want to be on this bus." It was a 35-minute drive to the stadium, and that's police escorted out to the stadium.
There's nothing around it either, man. There's nothing.
Right. There. Well, it doesn't seem like that's a big deal for you or I. When you're a player, it's just you're used to just kind of shuffling around and doing your thing, and nobody wanted to do some big long bus trip to get out to the stadium. But so anyways, we didn't have to talk about all that Buffalo Bills stuff. I just think Saturday night is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's obviously a divisional game, which is huge. And I just wanted to show off my Cole Beasley candle that I will have lit and ready to rock because the boys are all back together. So I can light all three. Nice.
Is that the final piece? I mean, prediction right now. Is this a Super Bowl run this year, Rod?
For Buffalo, yes. I think we're going to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I do believe that. Losing Von Miller was a massive hit. He was such like the motivator, and he was earning that $100 million. I mean, I don't know what you got to do to earn $100 million, but on television, I've watched every game. He was earning that money, man.
Right.
So I know he's going to motivate in the locker room, but you just can't replace Von Miller out there. And the reason we brought in Von Miller was for the AFC Championship game to contain and to keep an eye on Patrick Mahomes and sack him and don't allow him to get outside and run and do the things that he does. Now we don't have that.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild.
But we've proven that we can beat them, but we had Von Miller. I don't think Von Miller is the only piece that, that's going to keep us from there, but he was one of those things that was almost like, okay, now we're definitely have what we need.
I can't wait. The rest of the season is going to be great. It's just going to be great. There's been a lot of good football games. I've watched a lot of random games this year, and it's been a fun season to watch. Some of these younger quarterbacks like Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. Fucking that guy's a rock star. He's
LSU.
Great.
LSU guy, man. All the LSU people still, I mean, they just love him.
That dude, they fucking love that guy. He's great, man. He walks on water down here. He does.
And I mean, think about what's happened with Buffalo over the last couple of years. I should hate Kansas City, and I cannot hate Patrick Mahomes. I can't.
No, he's too good.
He's too good. Travis Kelce is too good. I can't hate on them. I want to hate them, and I can't. The things, I don't know if you saw Mahomes with his pass, no look, and he just threw it. It's just crazy what he does. I mean, him and Josh Allen, that's the best rivalry in football right now. Those two guys, by far, when those two guys square off against one another, that is the new Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I think
it'll be that way for quite a few years too. I hope. What episode are we doing?
72.
Okay. So Rod, to shift gears, I put together, since we've done 72 episodes, which is insane to think we made it past 6. I get the feeling that people know us pretty well at this point. We've unloaded a lot of crazy shit. I've learned shit about you I had no idea about, and I'm sure you've learned a few things about me over the length of this podcast that we've done the last year and a half. It's pretty fucking wild. I got to be honest, man. It's been quite the trip. The shit we've discussed that we've never talked about drinking beers. It's wild that it all comes out on a podcast that other people can listen to, which is a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. That being said, I found a list of questions. Okay. I've got a list of 72 questions in front of me because I did it in honor of episode 72.
The fuck? I got to answer 72 questions right now?
No, I'm picking 3. I'm not going to fucking be here all night, but you get to choose your questions. Okay. You got to pick a number. Pick a number 1 through 72. Go ahead. Get to know Rodney. This ought to be fun. You love these pop quizzes, don't you?
I mean, I can't not pick 69 for real. I mean, okay, 69.
Episode 69. I didn't even make any jokes. Number 69. Okay, here we go. Number 6. You ready? There we go.
I am ready.
This is a great question for anyone listening to kind of go and ponder in your own world too, because these are pretty interesting questions. Who inspires you to be better? Because you're fairly successful, I'd say, at what you do. I consider you in a leadership role, but everyone is always inspired by someone. Doesn't matter who you are. You know what I mean?
I like listening to coaches. I like listening to, I love listening to coaches' speeches. You don't get to see them before the game. They don't, the cameras aren't allowed in there.
I wish we could, though. How great would some of those be?
But the way that they're portrayed in movies,
sure,
is great, but the coaches afterwards, and when I see these coaches, this young guy that's coaching right now for the Detroit Lions, who the Lions kind of blow, but man, the coach, he's a former player and he's so in tune with everybody. And like football still yells at people and they yell at players, basketball. We've talked about this before, like baseball players, Dusty Baker is not yelling at any Astros players. Okay. He's not yelling at one of them ever. Okay. Nor has he. I don't know that the Rockets players are getting yelled at or Pelican players. I don't think they're getting yelled at by the coach. Football, for some reason, they still get yelled at. But the way that Dan Campbell has, and I like this just because and the only reason why I know him is because watching Hard Knocks, and to see him go from, okay, man, listen, you got to get this done today. They can yell, and his assistant coaches will yell, but they will also encourage at the same time. And that balance to me is very inspiring, because I don't think I am a great coach. And when I see coaches, I can recognize greatness in coaches. And I don't know that I'm a great coach, but I aspire to be like them.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, the coaching thing is cool. I mean, we've, the movie Miracle, Herb Brooks, that is portrayed by, the actor, I can't think of his name.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell in that movie, Miracle, the hockey movie about the 1980s Olympic team. There's speeches in there. You're just like, this guy's a prick and he's rough and he's tough, but he knows the buttons to push and he knows when to push them and how to push them throughout that movie. And that's another great example of the coaches. I would love to get in and have the mic'd up situation before a game to hear what these guys are saying, and that's what's great about like the Hard Knocks. You get a little insight on that. Okay. Coach.
But Herb Brooks, if we played him 10 times, they might beat us 9, but not tonight.
Nope.
Tonight, you're the greatest hockey team in the world. You were born to play this game. I mean, geez, that speech that he gives before the Russian game, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they went word for word for what Herb Brooks really told those kids, but man, Kurt Russell's speech beforehand, those are some of the great parts in movies too. I mean, if you go to, we talked about so many sports movies on this, but Billy Bob Thornton in Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Boobie Miles would kill to be out there and play with you right now. He goes, look at the person next to you. Now look at the person on the other side. Those coaches' speeches, that is so motivating.
Well, it gets you going. And don't you wish, we've all had good and bad bosses throughout our lifetimes, right? And the bad ones, they seem to be around more often. The good ones never last in your place because they move on to better things. And I've recognized now through years of experience, the good ones were really good. Like they were really good. And the bad ones, I don't remember them. I let some of that bad shit motivate me in the wrong reasons. Like it'll piss me off. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to be like this asshole. Don't do that. Do this, Anyway, that was a great answer to the first question. All right, pick another number. 1 through 72. You can't pick 69 again.
When I play the lottery, for some reason, I always play, I know it's horrible, I play 32 for OJ. 32. Oh, I always play 32. What
the hell's wrong with you?
I don't know, dude. It's just, it comes up.
If you win
Just-
the lottery, it'd be because of fucking OJ Simpson.
Yeah, 32. I always go with 32.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry. I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
You know what? Okay, I've learned a lot about you today already. Wow. I didn't know. I don't even have to ask the question. That's way better than my stupid question. What's the most immature thing that you do? What's the most immature thing that you do
Oh, man.
besides this podcast?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I still talk such dumb shit with my friends.
Yes.
You know, we'll go out and have some drinks with the neighbors, the guys, you know, and all the wives, they'll say, what did you do? And it could be 3 hours, 4 hours. She's like, they'll be like, what did you do? And I'm like, you know what? We drank beers and we laughed and we talked about the dumbest shit and settled nothing, came to no conclusions, really just nothingness. But there was never any dead air the whole time. And I had the greatest time ever. And the wives cannot understand that. I sat outside with one of my neighbors until 4 a.m. They're like, what are you doing out there? I don't know. Talking the dumbest shit ever.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, and it's the best stuff because I think because of what you do, there's always has to be a resolution. Every break has to have a punchline or a resolution. When
Why
you're
don't
with your friends, you don't need
why
to do
don't
that.
why don't wives understand that? They're like, I mean, you were with him for 4 hours. What did you talk about? I don't know. Dumb shit, movies, stupid crap. I don't know.
Dumb shit.
I don't have anything, but all I do is sit around with people when I'm not on the, I mean, listen, I get paid to talk about dumb shit, you know, but it's got to be kind of, you know, focused in.
Right.
If you're sitting around and hanging out with people and you're having a few beers and stuff, I'm the most immature idiot ever. Nothing smart comes out of my mouth.
Mm-mm.
Zero.
No, I know.
But we just sit around and we laugh.
Yeah.
Like idiots, like
Oh, yeah.
little kids.
I will say this. It's very interesting. Like the podcast that we do, it's a look into what we do, our friendship, right? It really is. It's a pretty decent look into it. But man, when the gloves are off and there's no microphones around, it's fucked up. I mean, when we start, and what's great about it for me is that it's not like it's on when you walk in the door. Okay, when I come over to your place in the quarter, hey dude, what's up? You know, we're just talking, just normal human being shit. But man, after about 20 minutes, it just starts to light up, and then it's just like, you know, my goal, get you to laugh. If I get you to laugh, fuck yeah, that's awesome to me. If I can get you to laugh, because your sense of humor is very similar to mine, it's hard to get you to laugh. So if I got you going, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. But then you'll get me laughing. And then now I feel like, and it's never been discussed. It's never been thrown in the open, but I just feel like as the night goes on, it's just climbing, it's elevating. And it's just like, you're just trying to bang the shit out of them verbally and get the other guy laughing so hard.
But if you and I sat around and did that and did it till 3 a.m, and then the wives go, what were you doing last night?
Laughing my ass off, man.
I don't know. I don't know. We just did it. I don't know. We sat around and did nothing.
And that's good. That's good to do sometimes. You know, when you think about your day to day, it's intense. You know, from 4 hours you're on the radio, it's intense, you know, for what I do with my radio station. It's intense. It's hardcore brain usage. And I fucking hate that. So when I get home, even I'm like, everyone starts talking to me. I'm just like, yeah, okay. What's up? I'm done. I've used my words for the day. So when I get these opportunities to hang out with you or other guys, it's like, fuck, man, I'm just talking the dumbest shit on earth, and I'm gonna have a great time.
The dumbest shit ever. I mean, so I think what your question was like is like immature. It's like the dumbest shit ever is being discussed, but nothing is getting solved. There's no end to it. There's no agreement amongst all of us. There's no, you know, it's like, okay, boom, we could pick this one up next week and do it all over again. And the wives would be like, What do you do?
Like I could never figure out like when like the wives or the girlfriends get together and they'll go out and do a day at the nail salon, or they'll do a day at the spa, or they'll do all that. I'm like, God, that sounds awful. It just sounds fucking terrible. But that's okay, because that's what women want to do. But what's interesting about that is at least they got their nails done. We don't even get that.
Yeah, what do you have to show for hanging out with Jason until 4 a.m? What do you have to show for yourself? Super hungover. I drained my wallet. Yeah. So you're right. I nothing. I'm an idiot. Yeah. I am an idiot.
Yeah, it's great. I fucking love it. I think it's the greatest thing on earth. There's nothing like that in the world, man. All right. Yeah, you didn't really nail it down to one thing. It's pretty much just everything. That's good. All right. Pick another number that's not a murderer.
Okay, so no OJ, no 69. Let's go with 4. My kid is 4.
Ooh, let's see. Hold on. I have it way in the back. Number 4. Let's see here. Ooh, this is this one. This is the rest of the podcast right here, probably. Here we go. Number 4 is what is the well, we've talked about a lot of this. We've kind of wandered through this question a lot on this podcast, but let's just get into it here. What's the best and worst thing about getting older? Go with the best first, Ron. The best thing about getting older.
The best thing about getting older is it's like a veteran quarterback, and you can see down the field better. When you're a rookie quarterback, and let's talk just Peyton Manning, and think about like those happy feet that he used to have. As soon as he dropped back to pass, his feet were going fucking crazy, and he's looking all over the place. And then if you saw him, like as he progressed in his career, you just get more comfortable when you go back into the pocket. So I think life is like that a little bit, that you can kind of see down the field a little bit more, where it's like, okay, now that doesn't always make it easier because you can see down the field. You're like, shit, so, but your field vision is better. I mean, that's the first thing that kind of came into my mind. And I think overall it's a better thing. That's why you do dumb shit when you're young. You don't think of the 2 and 3 steps that happen after you do that dumb thing, right?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that you're old and you don't do anything anymore and you don't have fun. But it's just like you kind of understand a little bit more how the thing works, how everything works. And it's like, okay, boom. If I do this, if I say no now, boom, I could probably do this again in a couple of weeks. So let's just call it here. That's one of the things you get. I'm just way smarter about life than you're so dumb when you're young. And when I say young, I'm talking till I was 30. I was a complete moron.
Yeah,
like an 30, absolute 30. Moron. Did not give a F at all, and lived just stupidly.
Right.
But still had a good time. I mean, I don't regret. I don't have a whole lot of regrets and stuff. But I think one of the best things about getting older is just you're more in control of your surroundings and what's happening to you.
I agree. I think that there's a maturity. There's to use your example, it feels like things in a lot of professional athletes will say things just go slower. The game
slows down
for everyone, but you see it and it's in a little slower speed coming at you. And I used to be all like, fuck, I was like a jackrabbit, just like, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. I'm still the same way, but I'm like, okay, we're going to go do that. But before we go do that, let's work on this first. I'm much, much better at that.
Are we really going to do this and not do the line from Colors? Are we really not going to talk about Sean Penn and Robert Duvall? Sean Penn is the young cop. Robert Duvall is the old cop. The movie Colors, fucking great. Sean Penn, they call him Pac-Man in the movie. And he's the young cop, and Robert Duvall is like, okay, listen. We're like two cows sitting up on the hill, and we're looking down in the pasture. Okay. Or two bulls. We're two bulls, and all those cows are down there. And you want to go run down there and fuck one of those cows. Robert Duvall's like, sure, that's great. We go run down there, we can go fuck a cow. Or we could walk down and fuck them all.
It's such a great analogy.
I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, that's what Robert Duvall said to the young cop, just to get him to slow down a little bit. And that line has always stuck with. I mean, you and I have used that stupid line forever.
Forever. But I think it's one of those things where, you know, especially in this stage where instant gratification, that's what everybody's after with social media. You want that instant gratification constantly. Instant gratification, you see the end result online a lot, right? You know, you do your charity thing, right? You give out your backpacks, and on that day, social media blows up for you. People are like, oh my God, that's so great. Look at all the backpacks you gave to all those kids. It's such a great team effort. All those things. That's great. That was that day. How many months and how many people and how much effort goes into that? There's all this work to get you that instant gratification. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't see me going Facebook Live when I'm fucking doing all the book work here for the charity and crunching all the numbers, and it's like deposits, and I'm going through all the slips, and it's like, okay, money from here, and then this came over here, and then boom, boom, boom. It's math, it's paperwork. I don't post anything about that, and that's like you said, the giving out the backpacks. It's a couple of hours, you know. I mean, it's 2 days. We're there for like a 5-hour shift, and I do 10 times that as far as like the book work and behind the scenes of the charity.
But that's anything. That's like people don't realize that it takes sometimes years to get something accomplished, you know. And I think that everyone always looks for a shortcut now. They just want to have the success. They want to get the trophy. They don't realize that there's work put into it. I always thought when I was younger, hey man, let's just go get the trophy. Let's just fucking shortcut all the bullshit and get there. Well, you can't. You just can't, you know? And it took me a lot of years to figure that out. You've got to lay the groundwork, take the time, put in the effort, all that bullshit. So yeah, that's the good thing about getting older. All right. Part B of my question. What's the worst thing about getting older, Rod? There's probably a laundry list here.
I mean, I don't wallow in it, but man, you start to think about, I think about how old my dad was when he passed away. You start thinking about those things. I don't sit around and think about it a lot, but when you get older and I see my kid, I start doing math in my head. I'm like, how long do I have? How long do I, that is the fact that even enters your brain.
Yeah.
It never has before. It never has before. It's even knowing that my dad died at 62. So he died young, and his dad died really young before him, but it was an accident. So I don't know anybody before that. But when you have a kid, you start thinking about, man, I just want to be around for a long time. And that's one of those weird things about getting old. You're like, damn, I'm not upset that I didn't start sooner. I mean, my plan was my plan, and I promise I'm 100% okay with that. But the worst thing about getting older is thinking about getting older, and thinking about it. You know, I mean, for the most part, my health is good, and I don't think our parents worried about their health the way that we worry about our health. We do things better. We're smarter than our parents in many ways.
Right.
In some ways, we're way dumber. But when it comes to stuff like that, I think we are way better. We just know more now. So that's probably the worst part about getting old, is thinking about getting old.
Yeah. You know, when I read the question, I was like, well, is it because I wake up every morning and I'm sore? Yeah, that sucks, but whatever. You fuck it. Just move on. You got to keep going. Yeah. For me, the worst part, and this is the shit that keeps me up at night, is the old, I'm running out of time to do shit.
Like, yeah, you start thinking about those things. Like, man, if I don't go do this now, I might never do it.
Yeah, like I only can do, like, I'm never going to be in the Olympics. It's never going to happen. I'm too old for that. And that's a shitty example. I get it. But there's other things like that I'm like, wow, that ship has sailed. Okay, we're not to check that off the list. That's never going to happen. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things like that I'm like, but then again, on the flip side, my kid's like 14 and we just went and we were doing some skiing and shit. And he's like, aren't you going to break a hip there, grandpa? You know, and shit like he's giving me shit. And I go, fuck you, dude. And I'm bombing down the mountain, 51 years old, skiing like a fool. So I think, like you said, you know, our generation, Gen X, we still want to do shit at age 50, 51. I remember, you know, my parents, they retired and there you go. They did their thing and it's great. That ain't me. There's no like, you know, you get those AARP magazines, which is fucking freaky.
Yeah,
and,
welcome to those, bro.
Jesus. And it's like, oh, you know, the old days was all sit on the beach, you know, and smoke cigars and drink Mai Tais. Dude, no way. That's never going to happen to me. Never. I want to keep doing shit. If I get the luck, and it's luck, to be 90 years old, I hope I still got the wherewithal to keep doing shit. I still want to be doing whatever it is at that time period, you know? I just feel my thing with being older is I've got a laundry list of shit I want to do, and I just can't get to it fast enough. You know what I mean?
Well, then, but that list, I mean, what fucks up anybody's list? It's work.
Oh yeah, work gets in the way of everything.
So people have asked me, like, well, Rod, how long do you want to do this for? I'm like, fuck, you know, I don't know. I certainly would be miserable retired. I know that. I wouldn't be good. I would be awful. But I also don't want to be my dad, who was retired for 6 months and he died. And he worked his ass off since he quit school in 8th grade. He never not worked. You know, that's it. That's all he did was work. Since 8th grade, okay? Like he went to work. And he was retired for 6 months. Fuck. That freaks me out. He never went anywhere. My dad never went anywhere. He never left the country except to buy me some fireworks in Canada.
But see, that's the thing. Like his job's
that's where we're smarter than our parents. You know, they not only did they not have the means to do that, but it's just not what you do. You work your ass off and then you die. You know, that's exactly what he did.
A good plan, you know, and that's what I always worry about too. You know what always gets me is Walt Disney, to use a very bizarre example. I read his biography years ago and it's really fucking long and boring and dry, but there's a lot of great parts. And Walt Disney, obviously, we know who he is. We know what he did. Dude's on his fucking deathbed, right? He's on his deathbed and he's still designing Walt Disney World. Okay. He died before it opened up. He's designing, he's saying, no, we want to do this. And he's drawing shit. And people are coming into he's on his fucking deathbed. And they're like, hey man, what about this? And he's like, well, no, do it like this and do this. He's given literally orders on what to do as he's fucking dying. And it's like, that poor bastard was working right up to the end, which is cool because his job was cool and he created it. So it wasn't work for him. But the fact that he kicked before he got to see the fruits of the labor, that's kind of depressing, you know? And that's what it's in the back of my head all the time. I'm like, fuck, get this shit done, get this shit done, get this shit done. By the way, I'm not creating a theme park in case you were worried, but those are the things, you know, that keep me up at night.
Do you remember, just staying with the Walt Disney thing for a second, do you remember, did they talk about in the book his final thing that he said?
Oh,
do you remember that?
I don't remember. I read it a long time ago. I do not recall.
I think the final thing that he said before he died was Kurt Russell. I think so, dude. Kurt Russell was a Disney star when he was a kid.
Yeah, he was a kid. That dude's been acting for 200 years.
Right. But I think I remember that as one of our silly fun facts.
That's weird.
His rosebud was Kurt Russell. That's obviously a reference. Well, okay. Citizen Kane. Rosebud is what he was saying at the end of his life. Well, thank you, Jason, for my quiz today.
Fucking Walt Disney's final words were Kurt Russell.
Thank you. How bizarre is that?
That's messed up. Kurt Russell, final words. That is bizarre. Well, there you go, Rod. I think we learned a little bit about you there.
We've got 11 days until Christmas. So I found this online. And it is the top 10 holiday traditions in the U.S. And this will be definitely some insight to where Jason and I came from a little bit. We'll see how things are different from other people, but this is going to be one of those things that I'm going to want people to chime in on too with social media for sure. Because for the most part, it seems like most people do Christmas fairly the same with just subtle differences, you know? Okay, real quick, before we get into the list, I always found it weird that families, there was only a few of them, but there was a couple that would open up and exchange their gifts Christmas Eve. I could not fucking have that explained to me when everything we learned growing up, Santa Claus was out Christmas Eve, delivered the presents. You wake up on Christmas morning. I mean, we did it like they showed on television. Did you guys do any of that Christmas Eve exchange?
The only thing we did was on Christmas Eve, we would get together with grandparents and cousins and aunts and uncles and have a party at my grandmother's house, which was always cool. Enjoyed it. You know, it was always fun. And you exchange gifts, you know, you family. It wasn't Santa Claus's gifts. It was my mom buying for the other families, that whole thing. That was what we did on Christmas Eve. But it wasn't any that crazy shit. No. Santa Claus shows up late at night. Yes. After you go to sleep and the presents are under the tree. This is how it works, I thought.
Maybe it's when kids got older or something. I don't know, but I thought it was weird that people would do their gifts Christmas Eve.
No.
It's like that's what Christmas morning is for. And
well, that's the
I don't ever want to morph, nor have I. I mean, I've only had a kid for 4.5 years. So the whole time that I didn't have a kid, Christmas and presents and Santa Claus, everything has been Christmas morning my entire life. Even when there was no kid involved, it still was Christmas morning when you did that stuff.
Well,
so
that's when
I
Santa
always
Claus
found that weird.
Look, I've got kids that are older now, right? And Santa Claus still comes to my house somehow in the middle of the night. Sometimes it could be 2 a.m. Sometimes Santa could be really drunk at 4 or 5 a.m. because the party went a little late on Christmas Eve.
Sure.
Santa Claus is coming in my house still to this day. Okay. Santa Claus is always going to come to my house one way or another. He's coming.
The way it should be. All right, let's do this. Top 10 holiday traditions in the U.S. Number 1, Christmas tree, decorating the tree. Okay, so real or fake?
Real now. I used to do fake. I didn't mind the fake. I kind of like the neatness of it all, but now I'm a real. The wife likes real. By the way, getting mine Friday. Getting my real tree on Friday.
Okay.
Of this week.
Now,
a week out from Christmas.
Ornaments. I had a discussion. A guy wrote in and said, Rod, I'm losing the argument. I would just like you to talk about it. I've already lost. My wife has gone fucking full Chip and Joanna Gaines. Everything is white. Everything is themed. And he has no control over it. She's just monochromatic. Okay. The thing that I like about Christmas is the same thing that I like about decorating the tree is the same thing I like about Christmas music. How I explained to you how these old songs take me back. I have ornaments from the entire span of my lifetime that go up on the tree. Okay. If some chick comes in here and says, oh, we're going to go Joanna Gaines this year. Okay. I'm going to go John Wayne Gacy because I have to bring out all my old ornaments. And now if there's maybe down the road a second tree or something like that, but the ornaments, the old bringing back, that is the absolute number 1 connective tissue outside of the music is the ornaments that go up on the tree.
Absolutely. And I was going to suggest the second tree. You want to have a second tree where you make it all pretty and theme it out to whatever you're into that year?
Right.
That's cool, man. No, there was nothing. I've got ornaments on my tree from when I was a kid too. My mom gave them to me. I still have them. And then
it's a huge deal, man. It's like a big deal.
Anytime we travel anywhere, okay, we go to Europe, we go in the States, we get a Christmas ornament. So that way, every year we put that. Oh shit! Remember when we went to here? Oh god! We start telling stories, and that's what's great, and that's what I love going to other people's houses during the holidays. First thing I do is I cruise over, start looking at their tree. I'm like, the fuck is that thing? You got stuff that kids made. They're just terrible. But
the ornaments, the ornaments Yes or no, true or false? The ornaments replace buying shot glasses everywhere you go.
Well,
Right?
I mean, you can still
You
do
used
that.
you used to buy shot glasses when you went to other places. Now you buy a Christmas ornament.
And it's awesome. I mean, I got the most weird Christmas ornaments all over the tree, and that's what makes it great. You tell the stories, and then you got the stuff that the kids make out of like pine cones with little googly eyes, or you got the clothespin reindeer, or all this shit, right? And some of it is so bad, so fucking bad. But it's
I have
awesome.
stuff that my grandmother gave me, which is, it would be London's great grandma. I still have some of that stuff. That's hers.
Yeah.
That stuff's going up on the tree, man.
Absolutely.
So,
in fact, I've got so much of the extra store bought shit that we never even put on the tree because we just want the cool shit, the stuff that tells stories. The tree is full of stories, and I'm with you. That will never change in my house. That's part of the best.
Garland around the tree, like a gold or a silver garland.
I don't think we fuck with that anymore. We're all about the ornaments now. I think we don't even play the game. How about you?
I do the garland, but what my grandmother did, because once we'd put up our tree, and it wasn't until after Thanksgiving. I know everybody goes crazy early now. You wouldn't be caught dead with a tree up before Thanksgiving.
No way.
The absolute psycho on my street, the Andersons, a part of their Thanksgiving was putting up their tree. They were the only ones, and we all thought they were nuts.
Kind of cool though.
But we would go and decorate. Well, now it seems to be so wildly, and I'm okay with it. It seems like Thanksgiving is a good time to put up your tree.
Right.
But you wouldn't do that 25 years ago. We would have to go decorate my grandmother's tree. And my grandma would say, well, then you got to put the toys on the tree. That's what she called ornaments. She called them the toys. So
cool.
And then after we would decorate, she'd bring out a box of tinsel. Tinsel. Now that was the long stringy silver shit. And that would go on. You would have to do it right. And, we would always put it on and clump it on. And that's when my mom got involved. It's like, get out.
Yep.
You guys suck at the tinsel. My mom would come in and she would just even it out. But it was the last thing you did, the lights, everything. Then you covered the whole tree in this silver tinsel.
And it was,
we did it when we were really young at our house. And then it kind of went away because my mom got sick of vacuuming it. Oh, yeah. And then I think because we were little kids, I think that, I don't know if that shit was made out of lead paint or what it was, but my grandmother never got rid of it up until she passed away. We were doing tinsel on that tree.
I could never understand that part of it. I don't. Yeah. Now I don't even see it anymore. Does anyone still do that? The tinsel?
No,
I don't see it in the stores.
I don't see a tree. I'll see like a silver tree or something like that.
Sure.
But I don't even see tinsel being sold in the stores.
No. I remember years ago, I had a small apartment and my daughter was very young and, not a whole lot of money flying around. And in my multiple moves at that time period, I had a small artificial tree. So I said, hey, let's put this thing up. Oh yeah, let's do it. And she's like 4 or 5. So she's very young. Put the tree up. We don't have a star. I don't have a star. Holy shit. I'm the worst dad ever. Right. So what we did was we got out a piece of cardboard, cut it out into a star shape, took tin foil, made us a little star. Boom. That went on the tree. I swear that thing must have been on the top of my tree quite a few years, man. I had that piece of shit fucking hacked together star, and it was the best because we made it. Those are the things that are, you can go and buy a bunch of shit, throw it up on your tree. There's no meaning behind it. You know what I mean? That's why those ornaments are so cool, or the toys.
My uncle on his tree in the 70s had, and I saw it on eBay about 10 years ago, and I sent it over to Sue to see if it was the same one. She couldn't quite remember. My uncle had Santa Claus in a blue helicopter, and that fucking thing was going around the top as his star. Whoa. And I just thought, oh my God, Uncle Jerry's tree is the coolest thing ever. It was the best, dude. And I saw it. It was retro. It was like $300 on eBay, and I did not pull the plug on it. I should have bought the damn thing.
Somebody's got to make it something like that now.
They do make something like that now, and I don't want it. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, shit. Well, Sue doesn't listen to this. She bought it for me. I just don't have, the tree doesn't hold it. It doesn't like support it.
Right.
But yeah, my uncle had that when he was, that was the only thing. That's where I was going with that. That's the only thing that was acceptable to me outside of a star. My sister and my mom, they're like weirdo. They trade off every year. 1 year an angel, 1 year a star. I'm like, no angel at the top of the tree. Star.
Yeah.
Star every year. I definitely am anti-angel on top of the tree.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I do recall going to the Ryan basement or your room, and I don't know if I was there or somewhere else, but I do recall a Christmas tree down there that was pretty much decorated with beer cans. Is that true?
Yeah, there was definitely a real tree down in the basement.
Okay. I recall.
Beer cans, yes.
I thought that
But
was
it started
cool.
at the top and lights, yes.
Yeah, I thought that was cool though. I liked that one. See, that one I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. That's awesome.
All right. Now, we talked about this briefly, I think, yesterday, but your mom baked cookies.
Oh, major. I mean, recipes for days. There was 1 year, I think she made like 12 or 13 different kinds of cookies.
Okay, what do you know about them? Cutouts, everybody knew cutouts. And that was the one thing that we got involved with. My mom did all the baking herself. When it came time to the cutouts, then she'd get out all the frosting and the sprinkles, and then we would decorate those. Other than that, my mom was just a demon in the world's smallest kitchen, and she made 6 or 7 different kinds of cookies. What did your mom make?
Yeah, the cutouts are a big deal. That's like her favorite thing. And we'll, because, as families get older, for me and my brother, we did it for many years. Same thing. She makes the cookies and then all the frostings on the table and all the sprinkles and shit. And we would do that. And that was always fun. Well, then, we got older. Now we've got kids. So now she does it with those kids. And then now we've got other nieces and nephews that are younger. So my parents are coming here in a week and the cookies are going to be everywhere. I'm still finding sprinkles and shit in my kitchen. Like it just, because it just destroys. It destroys everything. And it's awesome. My mom will make all kinds of crazy shit. She'll make these ones with Hershey's Kisses and peanut butter cookies. Boom. You got those kisses in the middle, right? Yep. Those are delicious. She'll make fudge. She's got a homemade recipe for peanut brittle, which is actually quite amazing. I mean, there's just a shit ton of cookies. I don't even know half of them. She got real exotic for a few years. Like it would take weeks to get this shit done. And then she peeled back, but it's still great. Can't wait to do it when she gets here.
My mom gave me this flat iron, and it's 2 pieces that come together with long handles. Do you know what I think you got some
one in my shed. Yeah.
Half-ass camping, like hobo pies.
Yeah. Those are great. I love those. Make cheese sandwiches and all that shit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this cookie, it's more flat, but it's got a design in it. And it's called a pizzelle. And basically it's like a super wafer thin waffle. Okay. And you put the raw dough in there and you set it right on the burner. Now we had electric, we didn't have gas. So you set it right on the burner, you count to 10, you flip it over, boom, boom, boom. You make 1 cookie at a time. And my mom made a Tupperware full of these. You make them one at a time.
Holy
okay.
Shit.
That was one of the cookies, a pizzelle.
That sounds awesome though.
They sell them in stores, but you got to have the one because, man, if you just do them right, you got to eat one hot because it's still a little doughy.
Yeah.
A lot of Polish cookies, Kiflings and stuff like that, things with dates in them. But after we got done eating, my mom would bring out this old 3-tiered glass with a rod down the middle, and it was fucking full of all the cookies, and it had a handle on the top, and she'd set it in the middle, and then you would just eat cookies
all night. All fucking night. You're just and then for like a week afterward, between Christmas and New Year's, because they're just everywhere. Because she made so many, and they're just like that 3-tiered tin or the 3-tiered plate thing. I got one. Don't worry, and mine will be filled as soon as it's empty. Bam! There's more. And I'm like, God damn it! I thought they were gone. I'm sick of eating these fucking cookies, man.
But I gotta be honest with you, where I do some of this stuff in the kitchen with my kid now, because I want her right there and I want her doing all the stuff. I don't think we were interested at all, because this happened all through my teen years and everything. You're not going to hang out with your mom in the kitchen when you're a teenager.
No.
My mom just did all that on her own. Did it all. I mean, she would make chocolates. She had chocolate molds, little Santa Claus. She'd make the flats, all of that stuff.
It was those.
It was insane. She's melting chocolate. When I say 6, 8 different kinds of cookies and chocolate, and then doing all the cooking and everything. The smallest kitchen in the world. I don't know how anything got done in there.
I know my mom liked coming to my house because I got a big island in my kitchen. So there's tons of counter space. She's like, this is so great.
Yep.
This is so awesome. Yeah, no, I'm
All
looking
right.
forward to it, man.
Number 1, decorating the tree. These are the top 10 traditions in the U.S. for the holidays. Baking Christmas cookies. Number 3 was writing letters to Santa Claus.
This is good. I love this one.
I just got out the Sears Wish book. I think I made a list, and I think we made a list for our parents. Like they were going to like send it off to us for us. I don't remember actually writing a letter to Santa Claus.
I remember, and this is going to be an obscure reference, but you'll have to go with it. You'll understand it.
Krampus.
You used to be able to write a letter. Remember, you could write a letter to Channel 7 in Buffalo, right? Tom Jones hosted this crazy Saturday morning TV program for kids.
Rocket Ship 7,
all that shit. And then you could write a letter and send it in. And then there was a Santa Claus who was a badass looking Santa Claus, as long as, from what I remember. And he would read some of those letters on air. Like, holy shit, little Timmy sent in and he got it read on air, Timmy from, Cheektowaga.
Right.
I don't remember if I ever sent a letter in. I think I wanted to, but I don't think I had the nerve to do it because I was so afraid that Santa would actually read it on air, and I freaked myself out. I don't remember if we ever sent one in or not. I have to ask my mom about that. What I did with my daughter years ago, she was 3, 4. I got a piece of paper on Christmas Eve, put it down. I said, hey, why don't you write a little note to Santa Claus, thanking him. I said, pre-thank him. Like, hey, thanks for coming out. Thanks for putting in the work all night. Write something down. Just thank Santa Claus for the presents because you've been good all year. Thank him. Leave a little note for him next to the cookies. She wrote down a little note. Wouldn't you be surprised to say, Rod, that Santa Claus responded to that note? And she would read that first thing in the morning. She's like, oh my gosh, Santa Claus replied. Dad,
oh, that's cool.
So she reads it and she's like, holy crap, how cool is that? And then boom, present time. Well, then I fold that up, put it in her stocking once we go through the stocking, right? The next year, do it again, do it again, do it again. Santa always, for some reason, always had a nice response to the note. Did the same thing with my son. So I've got all these notes over the years.
Oh, that's awesome.
The little kid writing, it's all terrible and it's all awesome. And they put the year. So I've got a bunch of these notes to Santa Claus. And Santa, that son of a bitch, will always thank for the cookies too. He always seems to thank for the cookies. And then he'll bitch. Santa Claus can bitch sometimes about like, hey, don't be leaving I don't like nuts in my cookies and stuff like that. Like he'll get a little personal. He can be cranky. So yeah, no, the note for the kid is really a cool thing to do, Rod. Very cool thing to do.
Yeah. I just don't personally remember doing it. I remember making lists when I was a kid of things that I wanted. But I don't remember sealing them up, writing the letter to Santa Claus. I mean, I certainly saw it. We grew up watching Peanuts and all of that stuff. I just don't remember actually doing that.
Yeah, I don't remember ever doing it either.
No. Number 4. We did this all the time because it cost nothing. We would load up in the car. We would drive around and look at Christmas lights.
Yep.
We just drive around town.
Yeah, because you knew where the good ones. The rich people always had the nice ones. So you
knew where they were, but there really wasn't. If you think about like everything that we know with the internet now, this is the number 4 thing: driving around looking at Christmas lights. It was the coolest thing in the world, dude. Up there, Dad, keep going. Look at that house right there. I mean, like it was like discovering. Look at that one. Oh man, look at what they. I don't ever remember saying, why doesn't our house look like that? I just remember driving around and looking at other Christmas lights. And we had that one ghetto string. My dad had the colored lights right across the gutter, just one row across the front,
half-assed it through the bushes. It looked like shit.
That was it, So it was never, but I just remember, and that's the difference between our parents and the way that we are. It's like, if your kid sees a house and it looks kick-ass, it's like, oh, I want the kid to be excited about our house.
Right.
My parents didn't give a fuck. It's like we'll go look at all that shit that they're gonna have to tear down, But we drove around to look at it though. It was great.
Yeah, we don't have this. Well, think about the effort it took. A lot more effort back then to put those lights up. Now you got everything kind of prepackaged, and it's a little easier nowadays. You got the big blow up thing, so it's still a lot of effort. I'm not saying it ain't effort. But
Yes.
back then, man, you just had those shitty, huge glass colored light bulbs, and it was just they would smash, and you'd step on one. You're like, "Where's the goddamn red one?" Or I mean, it was a little more involved back then. But yeah, no, we used to drive around all the time looking at Christmas lights.
And I just remember that being like this awesome thing to do. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, getting in the car and just driving around looking at Christmas lights.
When we
It didn't cost you anything. We didn't stop for snacks. We didn't do anything. There's no cup holder. You're not bringing fucking anything in the car with you. You're just getting in the car and going, and that's all you needed.
Dude, I think when we first moved to New Orleans, we went around driving around looking at Christmas lights one night, me and you, like a couple of old ladies, because there were some neighborhood. Because I remember driving like where we lived, we drove down the one main street, and you could see all the side streets, and they had all kinds of shit lights, and they had some lights going across like on the wires.
There was an area between like in Metairie, Kenner. There was an area, and then we went to go look at the guy that came up with Popeyes. What's his name? His house,
Al Copeland's house, which was crazy nuts. But you and I did it as a young adult, driving around looking at Christmas lights. Oh, that's a nice one. What do you think, Rodney? Oh, that's very nice, Jason. Yeah, we did that when we came down here, man. We're stupid.
Top 10 holiday traditions in the United States. Number 5, building a gingerbread house. Never did that growing up. They didn't even have prepackaged ones growing up. Now they've got prepackaged ones. I did a couple with your kid, as a matter of fact. When they came out with those kits, it really made it a lot easier. But I know that it was mentioned, it was talked about, but you would have to bake the walls and bake all those things. There was no pre-kits. So that's just nothing that we did growing up.
No, I don't recall doing it until, like you said, once the pre-kits came out, I did stuff with my kids. They always looked like shit. They always came out. They always collapsed on me. I don't think we never took the time to really kind of follow all the directions.
I did one
about it.
I did one with London for Halloween. So they had a gingerbread Halloween house that we did together. And
that's cool.
It looks terrible because, it's like the Pinewood Derby car. Like, I'm doing all the work. Okay. And it looks terrible. And the kids just eating, and London's just sitting there eating all the sprinkles. And I'm like, damn it, that's for the house. What are you doing? You're eating half the roof.
Well, you start to peter out halfway through. You lose interest. You're like, what am I fucking doing with a stupid house? Yeah.
Number 6, singing Christmas carols.
I can't sing. I fucking hate it. Hate it.
Me, Dan Bailey, and my brother. We went house to house. We sang songs, dude. We fucking sang Christmas carols, and people gave us money.
What?
Yeah. Now, there's things that I remember about it, and there's things that I don't. Did you knock on the door? I think we knocked on the door. As soon as they answered, you don't ask, you just start singing.
Yeah.
And you would sing just one round of Jingle Bells, and they would give you a couple of bucks, and you would go. It was like the winter version of mowing somebody's lawn. We went and fucking sang Christmas carols for money, dude. I don't know these songs. I don't know. I mean, I must have known the lyrics when I was younger. I cannot get through a whole lot of Christmas songs right now, nor can I sing. And I never could sing, but we did it on our own. No parental supervision. Around the house, around the neighborhood, singing.
No, never did it. Never did it. What I did do, this is probably 10 years ago, right? I live not far from what they call Bayou St. John near City Park in New Orleans. Long waterway. People paddleboard on it. People canoe on it, kayak, fish. And it's got a bunch of houses that back up on the one side to the bayou. What they were doing, and they haven't done it in a few years, it was really cool, is they will say, okay, at 5, because it gets dark at 5 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock. Everyone meet at this location. Okay. Bring your canoes, bring whatever water apparatus you have to float on. Okay. We're going to meet at a certain area. Santa Claus is going to be there. Okay. Load up your canoe with your drinks, dress appropriately for the weather. They're going to hand out caroling books, song sheets, and Santa Claus is going to, and we're all going to row and paddle up to certain houses. And you go up to the back of the house. Now, these people were everyone knew this was going to happen. So they were having parties in their backyard. Well, when the Santa Armada shows up with all these dipshits in canoes and kayaks, right? They all come out near the edge of the water. We're out there in fucking boats trying not to sink and bang into each other. And we're singing songs. We sing a song and they start chucking out like candies and candy bars, and they're giving booze to the adults and shots and stuff. And you back out and you go down the river a little bit farther and you go to the next house, do it again and again and again. Did it one year. It was me, my wife, and my son, who was probably like 4 or 5. So it's great. We're drinking. I got all kinds of beers. We're chugging beers in the kayak and stuff. And it was so fun. Bad part was by, an hour and a half in, people have been drinking a lot on these canoes and kayaks, right? So we're sitting there and you start, because you're just this wild gang of boats. And you know how it is. You're banging into each other. Oh, sorry, bro. Oh, yeah, it's all good. No worries. Everyone's cool.
The water's got to be cold. You don't want to tip.
You don't want to go in the water. It's December. The water's gonna be cold. It was cold this night. We did it.
Yeah.
So we're all backing out, trying to go to the next house, and we're backing out. We're fine, but we're in a canoe, and canoes, you got to be careful. There's a guy in a kayak next to me, and we're sitting there, and I'm trying to back out. And all I hear is whoa, and then splash, and he falls out.
That's got to be cold as shit.
He jumps up and he goes, holy fuck, that's cold.
Yes.
So then my wife freaks out. She's going, oh my God, if we flip over, what are we going to do with our son? He's 5. I'm like, well, you should have thought about that 2 hours ago. So yeah, that was such a great night though. Like going from house to house like that on a boat.
And singing.
I didn't sing. I mouthed the words. I didn't sing. I just pretended like I was singing, but it was really a cool thing they did. So there's those types of carolings sound fun. Just knocking on somebody's door and singing. I don't know how I would react if somebody.
No, dude, it's weird. It's weird. When I think about it, if somebody just said that, what I just said, like, dude, you're weird. We made money. Like we made money doing that. People gave us, here's $5. It's like, holy shit, this is awesome.
But like if somebody knocked on your door this year and there's like a group of 4 or 5 people just out there singing a song, how do you stand there and not feel fucking weird?
Yeah, it is weird. Like it's weird. I can't even, I feel shameful that I did it. I'm like, how uncomfortable were these people? Like, get the fuck off my porch.
Well, they're glad you did a short song, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then how many songs did we do? And again, I just don't know a whole lot. I mean, I could probably get through Rudolph.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
I can get through Rudolph and Frosty, but what else did we do? Jingle Bells? And I don't know.
You're not having a set change on somebody's porch. I mean, a couple songs, get out, get the couple dollars and move on. Yeah, no, I never did that. What they do here too is kind of neat. Is they in Jackson Square. In fact, they do it every year. I think it's on the 18th this year. They do caroling in Jackson Square. So you're right by the cathedral. You're in the park portion around the statue of Andrew Jackson. They've got the huge stage they put out there. They bring in bands and a choir. And again, hand out candles to everybody. So everyone's got those candles, with the little anti-drip piece of cardboard on them.
Sure.
And like one dude brings a lighter. No one has lighters anymore. It's really weird. But then you're just kind of candling, tipping wicks to each other throughout the crowd. So you're making friends. Everyone's drinking. And then boom, they just go through like 20 songs and everyone's out there in the entire square, got their candles lit. And it's really down homey fun.
That's cool.
But it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat.
Quickly, a couple of other quick things that were on the list. Wearing an ugly sweater. Ugly sweaters are no longer ugly sweaters. Ugly sweaters are now just Christmas sweaters. Okay. They were ugly sweaters when you found them at Goodwill, and now everyone's wearing them as the purpose of wearing them. The ugly sweater thing started out as go to Goodwill and who can find the ugliest sweater, and now they're making them ugly. So they're just Christmas sweaters now.
Yeah, it's not
they should just be called Christmas sweaters. I mean, I have a bunch of them and they're great. They're awesome.
I love it.
But calling them ugly Christmas sweaters seems a little silly to me at this point.
Yeah,
sorry,
get a quick laugh. It's not the same.
Sorry to be so Grinch on that. And then watching Christmas movies. We talked about our favorite Christmas movies. Did we not on this show?
Yeah, we did it. And actually, the wife was watching Elf last night. I was doing some shit. I walked by. I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm watching Elf. I'm like, all right. I sat down and watched 45 minutes of Elf. I didn't want to, but I did. It was on. I had to watch it.
Do you know what Buc-ee's is?
Buc-ee's the gas station.
Yes.
I know I get fucking yelled at for calling it a gas station every time, but
It's a gas station. It's okay.
It's a fucking glorified gas station. All right.
They have
Got
over
some
100
snacks.
pumps.
I know.
Okay.
They got the best snacks or whatever. And
But
it's got
kids
the
love it.
fucking
Well, that's it.
beaver
Kids love it.
Yeah.
So I told you that my kid's identifying with Elf live action. She's quoting it like a dude, I'm laughing. I'm enjoying the humor of my child. We're in Buc-ee's and it's packed. And she goes, I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing.
Holy shit.
Dude, I fucking almost pissed my pants. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny that she did that in front of everybody. And then the people that are immediately around her, they know what she's doing.
Right.
They know exactly what she's doing and they're laughing, dude. And I saw my kid, I saw the twinkle in her eye getting a laugh from a stranger. And I went, here's where it begins.
Uh-oh.
Here's where it begins.
Uh-oh.
She's performing. Dude, we weren't even talking about Elf. Nothing. Obviously, there's a lot of Christmas shit around inside the store, but it's busy. And she starts doing the Elf line of singing in a store.
Wow.
It was funny as shit, dude. I was so proud of her.
Yeah.
It was
when
like, it's really funny. And she's getting a laugh. She's getting a laugh right now.
Yep. When you see your kid get a laugh and earn it, not because they're a kid, but earn it because it's funny. That's
Yes.
pretty cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yep. She earned that one totally on her own, not just because of the cute points.
Now,
It was actually out there and she worked the crowd. She did a little crowd work at Buc-ee's.
putting some time. Now, if you see her chewing gum and you didn't give her any gum, you might want to explain that part of Elf. Or she's picking the gum off the fucking railing. You might want to get into that a little bit.
She is grossed out by that. So
Okay, thank
that's
God.
good. She absolutely does not think that's something that she can do. I'm like, that's gross, right? She's like, oh my God, it's so gross.
So funny though. It's so great. Holy shit. Is that the funniest?
All right. Well, there's some Christmas stuff. Anything that you guys did that's missing? I know we talked about baking Christmas cookies. The pierogies is a big thing with my family. And again, that is something that my mom did for a long time on her own. My grandmother did it on her own. And at some point after my dad passed away, my sister I already knew how to cook because of working at the restaurant, but I didn't know how to cook Ryan recipes and family recipes. I didn't know any of that stuff. And after my dad passed away, I'm already moved out and we're already in New Orleans. My sister, who had no domestic skills at all at this point, I'm like, get the fuck down there and start learning how to do this shit. Okay. We got one left. Dad's gone. We got one left. I go, and my sister had no interest at the time.
Right.
Then something clicked in her and she got really, really into it. I said, get down there, get the recipes, start figuring out how to do this shit. Get with mom now. You got to make the stuff with her. And then when I came in, then we had the assembly line. You need 4 people to make pierogies.
Wow.
My grandma, like older than dirt, made them by herself. Even a smaller kitchen than my mom's. And she made 8-9 dozen pierogies.
Oof.
But that's the one thing that is really, really like this tradition. I've had London there making them with us, when she was a little kid. And that's a tradition that we will keep for sure. And I'm a little jealous because I'm not going home for Christmas and Sue's not making them. My mom, we're working on other things right now. But I saw my friend online and you see there's a couple people online. There's a lot of Polish people back home. And you see that's a tradition that happens with a lot of families. And you have a pierogi party now, we're having more fun with it than our parents did. Our parents just labored and labored and labored in black and white and made these things all day. Now, now wives and women are getting together. They're having a party of it, and they're drinking and
music's on. Yeah,
correct. And it's fun, but I see a lot of pierogi parties went down over the last couple of weeks, and the making of the pierogies is a big thing. And now I know how to make them now. So, not as good as my mom's, but you know what? I wouldn't tell her this, but my mom's weren't as good as my grandma's. So I still think even with family, I think they might have fucking left something out.
It's how it works, right?
They don't want mine to be as good.
Probably. See, my son will be like, "Oh, grandma, you're gonna make." My mom has got a recipe for like English muffin bread. You know, how you buy the English muffins. She's got a recipe for the fucking bread. And the first time she made it, I'm like, I don't know about this. Holy shit, it's way better than any damn English muffin bread you can buy, or English muffins you can buy. It's so great, right? So my son like falls in love. He ate like a whole loaf of this shit one day. Like he just kept eating it. So then he's like, "Grandma, can you make some more bread?" And she goes, "Why don't you come on over here and help Grandma?" Like my mom understands what you're saying. Like, hey, you need to learn how to do this, okay?
Yeah,
and you're gonna help.
Take advantage of me while I'm here,
right?
So that you can learn this stuff. And you're just such a dummy when you're young, and
so stupid.
So it took my dad passing away when I'm 30. And I'm like, Sue, get down there and learn this shit. It's going to be gone forever, Yeah.
And all the recipes are handwritten and
exactly
fucked up and crazy. Rod, I came to today's podcast. I went and did a little research, got down on a few lists. It's mostly just, music stuff. Our wheelhouse, music, movies, year-end stuff. So I want to kind of go through some of that here in a minute.
Okay.
And just kind of like get some thoughts on how this year went musically. That's what we do for a living. So let's do that after the break.
All right, Jason, with a little 2022 or 2022 wrap up. Okay.
What year we're in? Holy shit.
Okay. Hey, next time you visit New Orleans, man, Jason is a great ambassador for New Orleans. He tells you about all the cool things that go on, and it's more than just Bourbon Street, and it's more than, Jazz Fest and Mardi Gras. This is a great time of year to go to New Orleans. One of the things that's happening all year round is the tours, and the Pirates of the Quarter is like the tour to take. If you're going to New Orleans, be sure to book a pirate tour. It's our only sponsor. Please book this tour. They're the only ones that sponsor this podcast. It is a French Quarter walking tour like no other. Discover the real pirate history that formulated and that was around at the start of New Orleans. And these are real stories. It's history that you're not going to be bored with. You're going to love the stories that you hear. You got a drink in your hand. The only thing missing is your toes in the sand. You're walking around the French Quarter, okay? And you're being told by pirates of what pirates did. Piratesofthequarter.com is where you book it. If you already took the tour, you know how great it is. Drop them a little rating, do all of that stuff, and then make sure you check out the shop, okay? There's a brand new shop, all the new T-shirts, everything looks great. Piratesofthequarter.com. Kick-ass T-shirts for sale, makes an awesome Christmas gift. Everything is at piratesofthequarter.com. And then, of course, all the socials at Pirates of the Quarter.
Our good friend, Karen, who's a big podcast supporter, and took the tour a couple of months ago. She sent me a picture of her in her pirate T-shirt that she bought. So she was
awesome. I saw that.
Out repping it. I'm like, that's awesome. Good for you, Karen. So thank you for always being a great supporter of the podcast and, of course, the Pirates.
I saw a funny T-shirt for the first time, and I believe it's the Dirty Coast guys that have a really fun shop up, I think, on Magazine. Yeah. And the T-shirt said, "Happy Almost Mardi Gras." And it was in the red and the green letters. And I'd never seen it before. And I'm like, man, if I would have seen that earlier, I would have bought it. There's no way I'm going to get it in time. Well, but yeah, happy almost Mardi Gras, because that's right after Christmas.
It's on.
I mean, once the three kings show up to the baby Jesus, it's like, okay, it's king cake time. And right after Christmas, and I'll have to let you explain that so everybody kind of knows like when we can start digging in on some king cakes. But
King's Day, it's January, whenever. I don't know when day. I don't have the date in front of me. I don't follow that closely. I don't care. But then you start doing your Mardi Gras stuff. You can have your king cake. Everyone's bringing king cakes to work, into the office space. And then we'll start ramping up with Mardi Gras parties. Mardi Gras parades. Rod, you've got some work to do. We got some skulls to paint.
Yeah, we
See,
do.
We ride on a pirate ship in the Crew of Tux parade, which is badass as hell. So you and I got to start preparing that activity. So there's a lot going on. Yeah, like I'm into Christmas, love New Year's. Mardi Gras coming though, man. Mardi Gras.
Correct.
So it's like,
and that's
I'm
why I
always
thought that shirt was so good.
got an eye to the future. It's all about Mardi Gras because it's just such a thing here, man. It's not like, if you've never been to Mardi Gras, and I'm sure there's people listening going, oh, go to Bourbon Street and do all that shit. That's just a sliver of the excitement for Mardi Gras. It's a family thing. You bring your kid. Last year, we had one of the greatest days I've ever had at Mardi Gras, hanging out on St. Charles Avenue with kids, running up and down the street, hula hooping, playing ball, the whole thing. Mardi Gras is a very, very family event if you go to the right places.
Absolutely. 100%.
I came up with this. I just wanted to quickly, it's that time of year where everyone's got the top everything of 2022 list going on. I thought, well, why don't we just do the same shit everyone else is doing? But I went in and I dug around a little bit because, obviously people that listen to this podcast listen to your radio station, The Buzz in Houston. People listen to my radio station, Alt 92.3 here in New Orleans. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of go through some of the songs that were popular this year. And then maybe you could give some insight and I can give some insight on some of these songs because people are going to be like, fuck, of course that's number one song. It's the only song you guys play on your stupid radio station. And that's coming, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to go in order, okay? So we're going to do the most played alternative rock songs because you are on an alternative rock station. I'm on an alternative rock station, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is nationwide. This is the chart of charts, the top most played alternative songs in the United States in 2022. Okay. Number 5 is a song. I don't know if you guys played it. It's an artist called Boy with Uke, and the song is called Toxic. It was number 1 back in, I want to say maybe August, September for a couple of weeks. Just this kid from TikTok. We played it for a little while. I don't know if you guys ever played it.
I don't know that we ever played that song. Now, again, doing mornings, right. We don't play a lot of the newer stuff. And if it's not good enough, it doesn't make it to us. And we probably need to do a whole nother kind of a setup. We probably need to maybe schedule a bare bones, let's explain radio all over again. Because there are people that have a lot of questions. They don't understand it.
Right.
And one thing that I want to mention before you're moving on with your list, I think this morning we kind of mentioned there was a list that was rock radio, and it was the top songs played on rock radio. And that's something that I don't have time in the morning to explain to people. It's, the Buzz is really a hybrid. When we call ourselves a rock alternative station, we really are a station that straddles rock and alternative. And those are two different charts.
Right.
So Jason's running with his radio station and he's looking at some of the stuff that we play and he's like, shit, you guys are like the only alternative station playing that. I'm like, yeah, but it works here and that. And so you can make yourself a little crazy with some of these charts and
right.
And it's mind boggling for people that they don't understand. Like, well, just fucking play the new Ozzy song, Rod. Why aren't you doing that? You say you're a rock station. And it's like, there's things, there's things that I'm glad to sit down and explain someday, or somebody sent me an email or whatever. And we've talked about a lot of that stuff, but what you're talking about is an alternative chart and the number 5 song. I am not surprised that my radio station, 94.5 The Buzz, which you would probably know this more than I do, but I think we are still like the top rated alternative station in the country. We don't play that. We don't play some of that stuff.
No. And, you guys really lean on the rock side of things, when I looked.
Yes.
And we in New Orleans, we lean more to the rock side, but we are not as far to the rock side as you are. We straddle the line. We're pretty much right down the middle of both charts. I mean, we're a little more on the alternative side of the rock. You guys are more on the rock side of alternative. If that makes sense.
So this song, are you familiar with it? Do you know it?
Yeah, we played it for a while. I didn't want to. I didn't like it. It's very, I don't know. It doesn't rock. You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking a guitar, there's no guitar in this song.
Okay.
Number 4, most played alternative songs in the U.S. this past year, 2022, was from the band Måneskin, the song Beggin'. Now you guys are playing that.
We were late on it because of the weirdness of it and how it sounded. We're lucky you're a newer radio station in your market, whereas the Buzz has been around a long, long time.
Right.
So years ago, if there was more than one alternative station in a city, then there was competition, and then you have to jump on this shit early. And now it's like, okay, let's try it out on overnight. So what you do is you put stuff on at overnight, and then you just kind of wait and you see is it getting any kind of a reaction. And then you open up maybe 7 to midnight. Måneskin was one of those songs that I wrote Radio Wizard an email, and I said, I am going to tell you to save this. I'm going to regret it because this song sounds like it's going to burn out, and I'm going to hate the guy's voice after a while. But we need to be playing this all day, and we need to be playing it in the morning. I wrote, and I don't get into my boss's, I don't get into his business. He stays out of my business. He knows what he's doing, but I do every now and then. And that was one of the songs I said, dude, you need to open that up. We need to be playing that song. Did I grow sick of it? Absolutely.
Sure.
The other stuff that they put out, I like though. And his voice isn't as abrasive. What's the word I'm looking for? Grating.
Yeah. His style of singing can be at times like,
but he lays it on thick for that song, and then he backs off on some of these other things. I've liked the other stuff I've heard from Måneskin, but Beggin' was a huge, huge song. I think that's the song that got them really well known on that Eurovision.
Yeah, and that was the one that really kind of blew him up in the States too. That was number 4 in the US, number 3 Red Hot Chili.
Wait, and I was blown away that was a cover song.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I looked it up. I'm like, wait, that's a cover song?
Yeah,
like some weird, I don't want to say Frankie Valli or something.
It's like Bobby Darin, Frankie Valli. It's something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck? Really?
4 Seasons. Yeah.
4 Seasons, I think maybe it is. Number 3, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Black Summer. Okay. That song was massive all summer long. We played the shit out of it. You guys played the shit out of it. The song was massive. I don't necessarily like it. Personally, I don't love it. I just feel like the Chili Peppers keep putting out songs that are like almost.
I don't feel that way about this song. Musically, I love it. Anthony's voice. I don't even hold back anymore. It's like there's 3 of the best musicians in music, and then they've got Anthony Kiedis in this band, and whatever he's trying to do with his vocals, I never thought he could sing.
No,
because he can't. But having John Frusciante back in the band and what he's doing with that guitar, the guitar in that song is still beautiful. It's masterful. It's crafted. It's just John. It's just outpouring. It's just pouring out of him. And then that's like one of the great rhythm sections of all time. So the been a long time since I had a new friend. That part of it is good, but the John, anything where John is playing and Anthony's not ruining it with his voice, it's awesome. It's awesome.
All right. Number 2 was a band called the Glass Animals, a song called Heat Waves that actually crossed over to pop. That's how not rock of a song it is. I don't know if you guys played that one.
I think we played it at night, and it never. I mean, it's got to really be. You're like, well, Rod, how do you know that it gets to you? I mean, we do test songs,
right.
Well, nobody called me.
Oh shit. And
okay.
If they did, you'd have the same dumb shit to say usually.
I mean, you can't call everybody, but people get called. People listen to song clips. There's a whole thing going on out there. There's a whole Illuminati of music testing that's happening. Trust me, it is happening. Just because they didn't call you, your one opinion of playing more Pantera is not going to change the trajectory of what we do on our radio station.
No.
Now, if there was 1 million of you doing that, then okay, geez, these guys want to hear Pantera. We need to play it. But there is call out. There is research. And there's no agenda. It's like we will play what the market wants to hear.
Yeah, it's called ratings, and you need to get those. And if you play
Yes.
fucking Pantera, guess what's gonna happen to your ratings? You're gonna shit the bed. Sorry, it's just how it works. You know,
So yeah, I'm not even familiar with that song, dude.
it's not that great. Hugely
And that's the
popular, though,
number 2.
in the country for 2022 in alternative rock.
That's why alternative stations around the country, it almost makes it easy for us to be as good as we are, because some of them are just pounding sand, man.
Oh,
Playing all this TikTok shit.
That's what killed alternative radio the last couple of years, man.
Yes.
We can talk about that if you want in a minute. The most played alternative rock song in the US in 2022. This will come as no surprise to anybody who listens to the fucking alternative radio in this world. Imagine Dragons and Enemy.
Yeah.
That song, I've tried to kill that song. I've tried to not play it at my radio station. I can't get it. I cannot stop. I have to play it. It's so huge still. And it's not even that good of a song, but people love this fucking song. And this is coming from a program director, by the way. It's not about what I want to hear. Okay. It's about what works. A good program director looks at the research, checks the charts, the graphs, gets out the abacus, takes his socks off, and has all this information out there. Yeah, I fucking hate that song, and we play the piss out of it still.
Yeah, people think like, Jason's the program director, so it's just like his fucking personal jukebox what he plays. It's not like that, but it also isn't. But it also isn't like, well, they got to. Well, Imagine Dragons must be paying you a ton of money. No, they're not paying any money. So it's not like that either, but it's so wild, the misconceptions that people have. And I get it. Listen, I don't know how your factory works. Okay. I don't know how anything works at your job. Okay. Whether you sell homes, whether you're in the hospitality industry. Well, I might have a little bit of idea of how some of that works. But most of you guys do these jobs. I mean, all these people here in Houston with these oil and gas jobs, I don't fucking know what you do or why you do what you do. I don't know. Okay. I don't know why, if something happens here, why are these gas prices going up or going down? I don't know. I don't know what you do. It's the same thing, but for some reason, you guys think you do know radio. It's like, wait a minute. No. You don't know all this stuff.
No, everyone.
You like music. That's cool. Guess what? I fucking like gas in my car. I don't claim to know how to do it. I love having gas in my truck. I love it. Okay. How it gets there and all the other things associated with it and where to drill for it. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I get emails, texts, DMs all the time. Hey man, how come you don't play? And it's really fun, and I always respond because I like to try and at least give you an insight. You may not like my answer.
I don't mind talking about it. But if I take time to explain something and you're just like, well, that's fucked up.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Then, dude, make gas $1.99 a gallon. Okay, get on that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So I got an email just the other day, and the guy's like, "Hey, how come we don't play more new metal bands from like the early 2000s?" And I said, "Well, we do play a few. There's Korn, there's Limp Bizkit, and shit like that." And then I said, "Hey, give me a suggestion. What do you want to hear? Give me some bands, and I'll tell you." Well, you know what he did? He wrote down a list of bands, and 95% of those artists were already playing.
Mm-hmm.
I go, bro, we're already playing all that shit. It's just not enough for him, but that's okay because I'm like, okay, well, I must be hitting all the hammers the right way because you just don't know because you listen for 10, 15 minutes here and there. So you're not hearing the bigger picture the way we look at it,
Right.
So
I would say on the Buzz, the Red Hot Chili Peppers was probably the biggest song of the year. I mean, that has to be. How much? We don't hand out awards at the end of the year, but the Chili Peppers by far was the biggest song of the year.
Well, I did my research, Rodney, and you would be wrong. The most played song on the Buzz.
Oh, it's weird. I forget that you have access to all this shit.
Yeah, it's fun. It's really, you could lose yourself in this shit, right? So let me go run down the top 5 most played songs on the Buzz in Houston in 2022. Okay.
Okay.
Number 5, Imagine Dragons and Enemy. Number 5. Nice job. Very good play.
Okay.
I like it. Number 4. This won't be a surprise either. Giovanni and the Hired Guns with their song called Ramon Ayala.
That song was huge for us.
Fucking love that song still. Love it. It's a rock song.
Yeah.
It's a straight up rock song. It's all it is.
You know, and the song, something, I mean, they're from Texas. The story, you know, they really did kind of build this thing from a Texas band. And I don't know if that comes through in the sound of the music, but obviously in the title, you're kind of got an idea of like, okay, I'm not shocked this is from Texas. That song got what we would call in the old days the phone ringing. People wanted to know what it was. And I would get emails. What is this, dude? What is this? You know, even though they saw the name and you still have what is that? The RSS that tells you the name and title.
Yeah,
That wasn't helping anybody. They're like, what the fuck is this, dude?
It's a long, weird name.
They wanted to know about it. And that was fun, you know, like, because people are still discovering. We all know there's a million places to get new music, but that was probably the funnest song of the year.
Yeah.
Because it came out of nowhere. And most people, because I don't think there was a TikTok trend with the song and people weren't they weren't soaking their chicken in NyQuil with that song on in the background, you know, on some challenge.
Right.
It was discovered by people listening to the radio.
Yeah.
And that's what makes that the funnest song of the year.
And what was great about it is that it was one of those old school ways where it took forever to climb the charts. You know, it was real slow. You know what the shit of it all is? It made it number 2. It didn't make it number 1 on the charts. It never went to number 1. It went to like number 2 or 3.
Oh, really?
Which is still great. You still have tons of success. That was number 4 most played on the Buzz. Number 3. And this song, I think you guys are the only fuckers in the country playing it on alternative radio.
3 Days Grace.
No.
Bush.
Nita Strauss and David Draymond, Dead Inside.
Yeah.
You guys play the fuck out of that, and you've been playing the fuck out of it forever.
Yep. Because that is a song that is not on, you're not going to find that on your alternative chart that you were talking about. You will find that on a rock chart.
Yep.
And it is a top 5 or top 10 rock song of the year. And some stuff just hits differently to prove to you that radio stations cater to the city that they're in. And Jason can back me up on this. You just said it. Like, is any other alternative station playing that song or doing anything with it? But we are, and we got research on it, and it shows that the market likes it. The market dictates what gets played. So we do things completely different in Houston than what Jason does in New Orleans. It's a different audience. You're like, it's not the same everywhere you go.
It's not.
You know, and those California stations, they sound like California stations. You know what I mean? They sound different. They sound like what people want to hear out there. There is a difference. Now, listen, everybody's going to want to hear the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Everyone's going to want to hear all that stuff. But it's these subtle differences that there are songs that just hit in pockets. And, there are bands that have these areas that they're really big in that is not their hometown. And it's just for some reason, they're connecting with an audience at a certain city.
Yeah. I listened to that song probably 30 times. I'm like, I can't play this. I can't play this. I just can't play it.
It's a straight ahead rock song. And the only connective tissue is like your audience will know that that's the lead singer. Every time it's played, that's David Draymond. You recognize his voice, right?
Yeah, it's Disturbed, basically. It's what it feels like, It's good. It's a good song. There's nothing wrong with it at all, but it's just like, you guys are the only ones playing it, and there's a reason for it. It's pretty cool, actually. Your number 2 most played song on the Buzz in Houston this year was the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Black Summer. Number 2. Number 1. You guys obviously love the band Papa Roach.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Kill the Noise is the song.
Yep.
That band obviously works for you there in Houston. I've listened to that song a bunch. I'm like, God damn, why are they playing the shit out of that thing, man? I'm listening to it going, I don't get it. I like it. It's a good song. So like, you guys are the only ones playing that fucker too, man. It's crazy.
And let me tell you, it's a partnership, okay, with a radio station in a city. So the people that live here will influence the radio station, and the radio station will influence the people. It goes back and forth, okay? So Papa Roach, Jacoby will tell you that he knows that Houston is one of his best markets. Papa Roach, Shinedown, There's a reason those bands are not from here. Okay. Papa Roach is from out in LA. Shinedown, you know, wherever you want to say they're from, but they kind of, when they hit, it was Florida. There's a reason that Creed filmed their DVD in Houston. It was their biggest market.
Right.
It just, this market, like it's a great rock market, and Shinedown will be the other band that'll tell you. It's just like, yeah. And they're so thankful. And that's why we know those guys so well. It's like, because of the buzz that has helped us, you know, become where we become. But we're not doing that as a favor to them. It's working. So
It's a good relationship. Yeah.
some of these bands, their biggest market is not their hometown. It's Houston.
Right.
It's weird. I don't have all the answers. I really don't. It's just sometimes just shit hits differently.
So yeah, that was your most played song. So let me run through my top 5 real quick here in New Orleans. Now, again, new radio station. I started back in May. Okay. So we're still finding our legs, man. It takes time to figure out what your audience wants to hear, what they want. So,
And it being a newer radio station, you got to be a little bit more conservative.
super conservative. I wait really long time before I start putting music on the radio, because when it's new, it's like, oof, let's just see what happens here. You know, and you have to be, you gotta be careful, right? So my number, and this is a good example of market differences, and we're not that far distance wise. Houston and New Orleans aren't that far away. Culturally, we are different fucking worlds. And that's where it really makes a difference, you know? And how many times do we hear consultants, and I'm sure you hear it to this day, it's the same, play the same shit in every city. You know, there's a lot of radio companies that will just put on a radio station in a market, and it's playing the same playlist as in Indianapolis as it is in St. Louis. And that can work in some worlds, some markets, but it doesn't work everywhere. So number 5, we played the shit out of the Black Keys' Wild Child. Great fucking song. Played the shit out of it.
We played that.
It's a cool rock song. Nothing's going to blow your mind about it. It's just cool. Got a great groove. We played the shit out of that. That was our number 5 song. Our number 4 song, Måneskin, Beggin'. I didn't know anything about that band. Saw them on Saturday Night Live. And I'm like, and I couldn't even pronounce their fucking name. I'm like, what the? How do you even say that shit? So when they played Saturday Night Live, I think it was last spring, and they came out and just killed. They looked great. They had the fucking look.
They look like rock stars.
That's a rock star. That's one of those bands out there right now that has a chance to really do some cool shit. They look the part. They act the part. They are it.
Nobody's standing out there looking at their feet when they're playing. They're all performing.
No. And just energy. And I was like, holy fuck, who the fuck are these guys? And then, you know, got into radio, and then Beggin' came out, and we've been on all their songs. So it's like, yeah, that band I hope has a lot of longevity to it. Number 3, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Black Summer. Okay. See, you can see where there are some patterns amongst the markets, right? We play the shit out of that song.
And what's great is, what's good and healthy for a radio station is when we call this dancing with the people that brought you to the dance. If the Red Hot Chili Peppers put out stuff, we owe it to our public, and you do the same. You owe it to your listening audience to let you know, here's what the Chili Peppers have. Okay. This is what they're doing, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be good. Okay. And the fact that they've been putting out consistent good stuff, Bush, and you know, Offspring,
Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins. I love that. We're dancing with those that brought us to the dance. These are the bands when these radio stations were getting started. These were the newer bands, and that's what the difference between classic rock, because there's going to be, you know, a new, I don't know, just a new Leonard Skinner album next year, and classic rock's not going to play it. You don't do that with those bands. We are still playing those bands that we started this project with.
You know, you bring up Bush, and, you know, I come from the same school of thought, is like, you know, it was Houston, it was us. There was probably 5 other stations in the country out of 76 that was playing the new Bush song. But we did it for a while. You throw it out there, see if anyone wants to taste it. They don't, put it back in the kitchen. We did that. Smashing Pumpkins, I thought that was going to be that situation too with their new song. I'm like, okay, let's put it out there, see what everybody thinks. And that thing just keeps creeping. and it just keeps working, and it just keeps working, it just keeps working. So, and the Offspring, same thing. Got the Offspring. Now, it came and went, but that's okay. You got to throw those things out there. Number 2, Imagine Dragons, Enemy. Can't get rid of that fucking song. Can't wait.
Yep.
And then my number 1 song, dude, this is crazy. Giovanni and the Hired Guns, Ramon. We played the shit out of that song. I love that fucking song. It's a rock song. That's it. You know what's really crazy
is it Teenage Dirtbag. It's Wheatus.
It is very much that. It's did you see the video for it?
Yes.
Yeah, a little fucking
it's like Hispanic Hot for Teacher.
Yeah, but they're running around a school with fucking Nerf guns and shooting each other. I'm like, yeah, guys, maybe I would have reshot that video to something different. That seems a little off target there on that one. That seemed a little bit weird. I thought that was going to hurt them. So yeah, so you see the subtle differences. We're fairly close between the two markets for our top 5 songs, but we're different from the national chart.
It's not cookie cutter. It's not cookie cutter, but it's hard to get people to kind of buy into that and believe that. And it's
a hit is a hit. You're gonna play it. You got to play it.
True.
And not every song is going to be right for the different cities. All right, so we did the music. Let's go through the top grossing movies of 2022. Top grossing movies. That means they made the most money. Okay. I don't know how many of these you saw. I saw a few of these.
I mean, I went to the theater one time, and I said I was going to go to the theater one time. So let me know if I picked the right movie to go see.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Okay.
Number 5, you're probably going to get into these movies down the road because you should, because they're funny as shit. Number 5 was Minions: The Rise of Gru. Didn't see it. Made 300. That's those little yellow guys. Cartoon.
Yeah, I know exactly who the Minions are. They are in the beginning.
Fucking love that movie.
They're in the beginning of a couple of things that we watch, but we haven't full on watched Minions yet.
You'll get there and you're gonna piss your pants. Your kid's gonna lose it, man. They're funny.
Okay.
They're funny. Go start at the beginning. I forget what movie they started out with. I don't know. Who cares? $369 million.
What's the Steve Carell does the voice? Is Despicable Me?
Despicable Me. That's it. Yeah. Go watch the first one. Take the ride. Your kid's gonna love them. Those little yellow dudes will have her screaming, laughing.
Okay.
That was number 5. Number 4, Jurassic World Dominion brought in $376 million. And that movie.
That was this year?
Yeah. That was their newest new one, Chris Pratt. It was terrible. It was
I'm done.
Terrible movie.
How could you not fucking know how to contain these dinosaurs by now? Okay. Then you got them running around New York and everything. It's like, your ass. I'm done with that. The first one was great.
It was bad. It was just not a good movie at all. But fuck. Number 3, and I haven't seen this yet. I want to. I hear it's great. Is number 3, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. That's the second Black Panther movie.
Yeah, I just don't watch any of the superhero stuff. Now, why aren't you watching Black Panther? Why do you hate black people so much?
Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, you go see Thor and all this other shit, all the white guys.
Because he's
Why aren't you going to see Wakanda?
Hello.
Why aren't you Wakandaing?
Haven't had time to go to the movies yet, dude. Did
you see the first one?
Yeah.
With Chadwick Boseman?
Multiple times. That movie is so fucking good, dude. Holy shit.
Okay.
When your kid gets a little older, you start going down that road. You got to go in order. You're going to love it. You're going to fucking love Black Panther. I will see this. My wife's been like, it's on. So we'll probably watch it this weekend. $410 million it's made so far. That's at number 3. Number 2, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Fucking dumb. I watched that one. So fucking dumb. I didn't get it. I didn't care. $411 million.
And again, I don't even, I know what that is. I don't know where he comes from and who his buddies are. And if he fucking calls Hulk on the phone to help him with shit. I don't know any of this. All I know is it's take my fucking wallet with you guys. And there's got to come to a point, like all things. The superhero movies are the hair metal bands of the late 80s.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And they cannibalized themselves.
Yep.
And they were just putting shit out and they just killed themselves. Are you worried that this is going to happen to what you love?
It already did. It was over. After the second Avengers movie ended, I've watched a couple of things and I'm just like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I've taken
What's
the
the
ride.
what's the Thanos and the stones?
Those are the last two Avengers movies. They're like a
Okay.
two-parter. That after that second Avengers movie was over, I had closure. I was done. I don't give a fuck about any of these guys anymore. I don't. I've watched a couple of them just because I thought, well, let me check and see what's up. Maybe it's still going to be good. It's not. It's
You
not
still take my
fucking-
wallet guy a little bit.
I'm gonna watch the Black Panther on TV when it comes out, and then it's gonna. I'm not keeping up with any of it. I don't. It's just not good. Number one, I think is no surprise. Top Gun Maverick,
There you go.
$718 million movie of the year. It's fucking great. I've seen it probably 3 times.
You know what my favorite thing is? Now listen, Scientology and all this stuff. Listen, if they want to be happy, that's great. You know, I don't care. Tom Cruise, he's into it. That's fine. I've always liked him. I always thought he was a cool dude. When he sits down before that movie and looks in the camera and says, "Thank you for coming to the theater. I'm so excited about this movie. We made it for you. We made it for you to view on the screens to get you back into the theaters." The whole thing. I don't know what he said.
Right.
That's the fucking coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
For Tom Cruise to look into the eyes of the people in the theater and say, "Thank you for coming to the theaters, because the reason I made this movie was not for your streaming bullshit." He didn't say that.
Right.
But it's not for your fucking little Paramount Plus and everything else on your TV. And I know you guys all got these great TVs. Me too. He said, "I made this for you to come to the theater. Thanks for coming to the theater." Tom Cruise is eternally cool for that. You know, he stuck to his guns, man. He could have put that movie out during the pandemic. It was done. He sat on it.
Nope.
He sat on it until he could get people in the theaters, you know? And I think kind of the same thing. Listen, this Avatar bullshit that people are trying to tell me that they're into Avatar. I've never met somebody that's into Avatar, okay? But now that it's coming back, everyone loves it. Okay, where's your fucking Avatar t-shirt? Where's all your Avatar dolls? Where's all the Avatar shit? You got nothing, okay?
No.
But I understand why that needs to be seen in the theater. And I felt that way about Top Gun before I knew that Tom did that. I knew they were hanging on to that movie. So I'm glad it was the #1 movie.
There's that.
And I hope he gets some Academy Award like shit for that.
I think they should get some stuff because it is so fucking well done. I mean, I remember being in the theater watching it the first time, and there's some of the plane stuff. I remember just yelling, "Fuck," because it was so cool. And I'm like, holy shit, this is badass. Like, it was that good. In the top 10, The Batman with Robert Pattinson was in there. Thor, Love and Thunder, didn't see it, don't give a fuck. And he's
Okay.
white.
I just wanted to back up on that
Handsome.
Batman. I watched it because of Nirvana.
Right.
And I'm sure that was great on the big screen and it was good. Now that's DC.
Yeah, that's a different world. I watch it because
Okay.
Batman. That's it.
And that world is still okay.
It's shit.
How they doing over there?
Stuff is not that great.
Didn't they just say they're not doing a third Wonder Woman?
Yeah, that's a little depressing. Well, the second one sucked. First one was great. Second one blew.
Okay.
So
That's
the third
DC
one,
now, right?
Yeah, that's DC. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Our boy,
Where's Elvis, dude?
that's what I was going to get to. Elvis
Where
came
is
in
it?
at number 11. $151 million is what that's made. 151.
I don't think that's good.
I don't know what it cost to make, but that's not a lot.
That had to make a, I mean, I'm sure it made a profit, but that's not good. Can you do, well, you already pulled that stuff up.
I mean, you know, if it cost what 60 to make, you win, you know, you still win, but I don't know what their expectations were. I thought it was a great movie. I loved it. It wasn't a home run. I think that Austin Butler dude's hosting Saturday Night Live this week. So I can't wait to see how he does in that. The guy who played Elvis. It's been on. I've seen it a couple times on TV, different parts. I like it. I like it a lot. 151 million. It's the number 11 movie of the year.
That seems low, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Seems
like a lot,
low.
you
I
know?
mean, Bohemian Rhapsody, I don't know what it brought in the first year, but Bohemian Rhapsody's brought in over 300 mil.
Yeah, that's had some years to, you know, streamings and all that shit. So
But I don't think that Elvis gets there from streaming and doing other things. I don't think, I think that's kind of the money that it's going to make.
and which is kind of surprising for a couple of reasons. First of all, It's
Dude,
fucking
Bohemian Rhapsody, more than $900 million worldwide.
right. So this is domestic numbers, by the way. This is not worldwide numbers. This is domestic
Okay.
numbers. This is US. So what's interesting is Elvis is bigger than Queen. I think we can agree on that. The movie looked good. The trailer looked cool. I wonder what it was that turned people off on it, before they went and saw it. I'm kind of surprised.
I don't think as many people are not still. As many people are going to the box office. I went to one fucking movie, dude, at the movie theater since the pandemic. I've been to the movie theater one time, and I know that they're doing numbers again, but nothing, flying is back. Flying is back to pre-pandemic numbers. Movie theaters are not back to pre-pandemic numbers. So
it's almost at home.
It's almost unfair, but Bohemian Rhapsody made $50 million in its opening weekend. So, wow.
Well, okay, think of it this way. To your point, the top grossing movies, Top Gun, that had to be seen in the theater, okay? Your other big movies, Doctor Strange, that's a superhero movie. Those are the kinds you want to see in the theater. Black Panther, superhero movie. Jurassic Park, dinosaurs. You want to see that in the theater. The Minions one, I don't get that one. The Batman, that's a theater movie. Elvis, you don't necessarily need to see that in the theater. You know what I mean? You don't. It's not going to be the bombs and the superheroes and the flying and the punching. So maybe that's part of it.
And I saw that. I did see that one at home. So I paid the $25, right, to see it, or
right. Yeah.
Was it $30?
It's like 20. Yeah. It's like $29.99 or some shit. $30. You're right.
Yeah. I think it was $30. It was the most, that's the most I paid for a movie. That's for sure. Without that wasn't even buying it. Like, I don't own that.
Oh, that was just like renting it for that, because it was.
I think that was
in the theater.
For the 24, 48 hours or whatever. I feel like I spent $30 on it. Listen, it was really good. It was really good. Same thing, man. I stopped shy of saying Top Gun was great. I thought it was really good. The Elvis movie, I thought was really good. I don't know that I said that was great, but I think the Elvis movie is every bit as good as Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah. It's a different style. It's very stylized. I liked it. I thought, the dude, the Austin Butler, the kid who played Elvis, lights out. He did a great job.
He is awesome. He is absolutely awesome. It's going to be fun to see what happens to him and his career. Does he become Leonardo DiCaprio? I know he's not as young, but is that his Titanic where it's like now, boom, does Baz Luhrmann hang on to him like Scorsese grabs guys? And does, I don't think Baz Luhrmann really has his own stable.
No.
But
well, you think about this. You got your Brad Pitt, your Clooney, your Leos. Those guys are kind of getting older now. So where's that next level? Where's that next round of dudes and women? It seems like there's a lot more women actresses out there that have got longevity than dudes. I might just be missing it. I don't know. But yeah, I like to see that guy get some success in the future. So yeah, that's the movies everybody went and saw this year. Crazy. The Top Gun's not a shock at all.
And that's the biggest thing that Tom Cruise, with all the movies that guy has made, this is the most success he's ever had. So good for him for holding out and waiting and doing all that and yelling at that guy on the set because he didn't want to get everybody sick. I remember that viral video of him screaming at everybody. And it's like, listen, you're affecting everyone's work here, man. If everybody gets sick, everybody goes home. We're not getting paid. We need to make this movie. They were filming during COVID and stuff.
Right.
So I'm happy for him. And I hope he gets some love at the Oscars.
That'll be interesting if he does. There's and all the Scientology shit will rear its ugly head and everyone's gonna be all on him and shit. It's gonna be weird if it does. That's the problem with that.
That's all good.
So whatever. Any final thoughts, Rod?
Yeah, dude, I do. And same thing with the radio show, same thing with this, keeping it light, tight, and bright. And I just, again, dude, because I watched that Ellen show, because I always really liked Ellen, her sidekick, Twitch, passed away today, and it came out that he died of suicide. It's been an awful year. I know 4 guys that are roughly around my age back home in North Tonawanda, not personal, like friends of mine, but guys that I knew, one of them that I was friends with, that killed themselves this year. And it's just, you never know what somebody's going through. And I don't know if you knew who this Twitch guy was, but man, he was always just smiling, positive, happy. Now I'm seeing like things about his life, and he's married to another dancer. And I mean, he was great. He was Ellen's guy, on the show. He was Ellen's Ed McMahon. He filled in on the show for her, and it just came out that he took his own life. There's a brand new suicide prevention hotline, kind of like what they have 911. They finally got it together. So 988, if you need to talk to somebody. I was saddened by hearing this about him today. I really was. I don't know him. I never met him. I don't know anything about him really, but now I'm finding out. But he's just, you never know what's going on inside with somebody. And that hit me a little harder than, I guess I watched more Ellen than I ever let on. I had that Ellen show on. I always thought that she did a lot of good things. There's a New Orleans connection. I just always felt that she did good. I was sad when she was in that process of getting canceled. And if she mistreated people, then okay, then that's not right. But man, she did so much good. She's our Oprah, and this Twitch guy killing himself, I don't know anything about it other than I was very sad today. That's not the option. Call somebody, talk to somebody.
It's weird you bring that up. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was, you're fucking around through Facebook, right? And I don't know what the algorithm is anymore. It seems like I only get fed shit I don't care about anymore. I never see shit from my friends. It's just like, whatever, I gave up, but I'll still go through it for a few seconds and there you go. Well, then I start seeing all these, how like when it's someone's birthday, you start seeing, hey, happy birthday. Hey, you old fucker, all that shit to people, and you see people saying happy birthday to other of your friends. So then I'm like just cruising through one day and all I see is, hey, happy birthday. Happy heavenly birthday. Happy birthday. Happy heavenly birthday. I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this? And this is not a dude I knew. Listened to me over the years. Somebody I probably met at a concert somewhere down the road. Friend of me, listener. That's it. So I like look. And of course, once you start getting curious, what are you going to do? You're going to go down the rabbit hole. So I look at the guy and I'm like, yeah, the dude ended up freaking killing himself back in the spring. I had no idea. And I'm like, and the guy was like 40 years old, couple of kids. I'm like, good God, dude, why? I don't know this guy at all. And I was bummed out for like a week. I'm walking around that poor guy. I'm like, I wonder what happened. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. It's not an answer. Everyone gets bummed out and I don't have any answers for that, but just start talking to somebody. Fucking start talking. Talk.
And if you don't, and again, you don't want to like bring your friends down and you think like, I'm not going to bother them. They've got their own problems. That's why 988 is set up. Right. You call that number and you talk to somebody. 988lifeline.org. And again, listen, it's the holidays. This just happened today. And this guy seemed so full of life on this show, on the Ellen show. Right. He was always in a good mood. You're like, well, Roddy was paid to be in a good mood. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
You still,
but there was just something genuine about him. I don't know anything about him coming up from these dance shows and the things that he did. He was a really good dancer and he just seemed like such a positive person. And then you just don't know. None of us do know, so just, it's a message to tell people to reach out, man. Don't take your own life. Reach out. He had kids, married. I can only imagine that their world is completely shocked. There's never a good time to do this. For God's sakes, what do we say? 11 days until Christmas. It sucks. It's been so in many ways, there's so many great things and so many positive things, but man, it's just, I felt that I had to mention that because it was today and it's just like, damn.
Well, that's the thing. You mentioned
young guy.
You don't know what's going on behind the skull. You know what I mean? Like everyone, hey man, how you doing? Great. How you doing? Like, awesome. Yeah. You don't know what's going on. You don't. That's why, like, when you see people like lose their shit over dumb stuff, it's like, man, chill out. Chill out a little bit. People got shit going on in their lives you don't know about. So just relax. Oh, did the guy not make your coffee right? Sorry.
Jason, final thoughts.
That's it for this year, man. We're done for this podcast for a couple of weeks, right? I mean, we're not coming back till after the 1st. We're gonna fire this bird up again then. So happy holidays, man. Just everybody have fun. Eat too much, drink too much, do dumb shit. It's the holidays, man. You that shit. I think you put something out the other day. You know what? Fuck it. That's 2023's problem. You got to look at it this way. The next couple of weeks, try and have fun. Talk to your friends. Hang out with the family. Yeah, they're going to be a pain in your ass after 2 days. You'll be like, what the fuck are you still doing here? But that's okay. Have fun. See these people. Talk to them. Tell stories. My kids are very good about that. My son, when we're driving, he'll something will pop up out of the blue, and he'll be like, well, wait a minute. Didn't Grandpa used to do that? Or did Grandpa fight in this war? Or did this? And he's like, tell me about it, because I don't know. And I'm like, oh, good point. To your point earlier about baking. So I tell him these stories, and I tell him over and over again a lot of them, apparently. And he appreciates that. He gets it. He's like, yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad I know.
That's good.
Now. So yeah, tell stories around the campfire, around the coffee, around the beers in the garage, or whatever you do. Happy holidays. That's all I got. I'm done. Had enough.
All right, man. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you very much. And you taking time off? Are you going to be off for the holidays when your parents are in town?
Yeah, I got folks coming to town. I'll be in and out. I'll be off-ish. I'll still be working. You're the program director. You're the boss. You got to get work done. It's your responsibility. Yeah. So you know how it goes. That's the fun of it all.
I forgot you're the boss.
Somebody's got to do it, right? It's
all right, Tony Danza.
So far, it's me.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you for checking out this podcast, and we will be back, I think, in 2023.
With new sponsors, hopefully.
Fuck. Go get some.
Trying.
Let's go. It's time. Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.